Hey guys, I'm Alastair from Trail and Kale, and this is my Hoka Skyward X review. Let's start with a really quick summary of what these running shoes are all about then. Well, they're definitely a max cushioned, very plush daily trainer. But what makes them extra special is there is a carbon fiber plate running through the midsole. The special thing is how that carbon fiber plate is convex, so it's bowed in the middle, which is very unusual, but that's how this running shoe gets its name, the Skyward. So the idea behind it is when you put pressure on the bowed carbon fiber plate downwards, it springs back and propels you upwards. But because it's obviously a full-length carbon fiber plate as well, it propels you forwards as well. So you get that upward bounce and forward propulsion all at the same time, and it feels like you're heading skyward. And for anyone who doesn't know what the X means in Hoka running shoes, well, it denotes that there's a carbon fiber plate in the shoe. Well, with that said, and after testing these shoes for a bit now, who are they going to be for? Well, I would say they're going to be best for anyone with medium to heavy build. These are a max cushioned, super plush running shoe, as you can see by this huge stack height here. By the way, this stack height, which goes up to here on the external side of the shoe, isn't actually the full stack height. This is actually a wraparound, which gives you more support within the shoe. I'll go over that in just a second. So the heavier runners out there are absolutely going to love this shoe just because of the cushioning, the stability and the bounce. But also they're a fast cushioned shoe. And they're just really, really fun for putting in lots of miles in those long runs or recovery runs, because after the run, your legs are going to feel refreshed. Your knees are going to thank you for it because they're responsive and quick, but they're super cushioned and not firm underfoot. So you can really just keep going in them. It feels like you're running on pillows. Exceptional. Love how they feel. Moving on to the key stats then. They are $225, so a very premium price tag for these. I will let you know at the end of this review if I believe they're worth that high price tag. How do they fit and feel? Well, they're very much true to size. If you're used to running in Hoka running shoes, go with your usual sizing. Very in line with other brands like Nike and On Running as well, for example. Now, they are medium width, but the toe box is fairly roomy. So these won't be for you if you have very wide feet. The Skyward X has a zoned flat knit upper. What does that mean? Well, it's an upper which has various areas which are more breathable than others. And with that means there's more flexibility, but less support. So around the counter here and the collar region, it's obviously a lot thicker, there's less breathability, but there's more support and it will hug your feet as you run. You'll also notice this articulated heel counter at the rear. You'll see this quite a lot on Hoka running shoes. I absolutely love it because it kind of allows your Achilles to move whilst you run. So it's not getting restricted by a counter which maybe puts pressure on your Achilles or points towards it. This allows for movement, makes them very easy to slip on as well. But if you have anything like Achilles tendonitis issues, a heel counter like this is really going to be your answer. It's going to allow you to run gently on it and hopefully get over that injury while still running a little bit. If you do have Achilles tendonitis, by the way, I have some great advice for you that will help you get out of that injury quickly. The midsole then is using PIBA foam, so excellent energy return, extremely plush and very durable. Also in the midsole, you can see here is that carbon fiber plate, which is bowed in the middle. You can actually see when you pick up these shoes that this section of the carbon fiber plate is convex. So that's really where you get that upward skyward bounce. But it's really the length of the carbon fiber plate which gives you that flex which will propel you forward. There's also a layer of supercritical EVA foam which is rockered, and that will help give you a nice smooth transition from heel to toe as you move through your stride whilst you're running. That really helps with efficiency over long runs, and you'll really notice how efficient, comfortable and easy running feels in these shoes just because of how well that rocker geometry meshes together with the PIBA midsole foam and that convex bowed carbon fiber plate. It's really unique, very unusual, and I love it when Hoka brings technologies like this out because They really are pushing the boundaries, and this is no exception. The outsole does have a rubber compound. It's very grippy, works really nicely. Some running shoes seem to overlook the fact that you need a rubber compound outsole, and will just have an extension of the EVO foam from the midsole covering the outsole. And you can't really call that an outsole, that's really just an extended midsole, which makes the shoe lighter, but really, really sketchy in certain conditions, maybe where the roads are wet. Although this isn't a stability shoe of sorts, there is a deep active foot frame in them. What is that? Well, I mentioned it earlier. It's how this midsole kind of rises above the footbed. And what that does is cradle your foot slightly, giving you extra stability. But also the shoe has a nice wide footprint underfoot. So that, coupled with that deep active foot frame, allows your foot to be hugged by a more cradling and supportive structure around your foot. And that makes them feel very stable on the run. So if you do have pronation issues, this is a really good running shoe for you too. And finally, they weigh 10.8 ounces for a size US men's 9. That's not hugely lightweight, but actually when you think about it, you've got so much cushioning. It's super plush, a very supportive upper, which has got a lot of cushioning as well in the tongue, and around the collar and the heel counter. And you've got a carbon fiber plate on there and a rubber compound outsole. That's actually pretty lightweight. But for lightweight runners, it might feel a little bit heavy for you guys. If you're enjoying this review, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get notified when new videos drop. I'm going to quickly run through the things that I really love about the Skyward X then. And that's kind of how the features I've just gone over really do benefit you on your run. First off then is the obvious one. This is super cushioned, super plush. So your knees will really thank you on those long runs, long training runs, because of just how supportive and cushioned it is. It really is the Bondi on steroids. If you're not familiar with the Bondi or Bondi X, follow this link up here and that will point you to my Bondi X review, which is probably the best alternative to this one. Being so cushioned means that this running shoe really can just go on and on. And because they are so plush and forgiving, your legs will really thank you for running in these the next morning. Next thing I really like then is, again, it's on the midsole. It's just how fun, bouncy and plush they are. It's not something you can just get from any old running shoe. Hoka has clearly put in a lot of design time into these shoes to create something that's as propulsive as it is cushioned and plush. A versatile running shoe like that is not really an easy thing to put together. Lots of brands have tried in the past, but when I've reviewed them, they just really haven't delivered. I find it's often best to do one thing really well. For example, design a really fast tempo training shoe, which is more firm but less cushioned. Or just go for a really cushioned running shoe that helps you put in long, easy miles. This one lets you do both, and that's what makes it so special to me. Next thing I like, I did mention before, is just how stable it is. Because you've got that carbon fiber plate and a wide footprint and a deep active foot cradle, they just feel super stable. So like I said, if you do have pronation issues, you just need a stability shoe that's super comfortable and cushioned, but also elevates your run to make you run those miles faster, then this is really the shoe to do that. Next thing I really like is the breathable upper. It's super cushioned and supportive in how it hugs and secures a nice lock around your foot, including a really nice heel lock, by the way. But it's just so breathable and allows you to regulate temperature within the shoes really nicely. And that leads me on to my last point, which I just said is the heel lock and the lacing system. It's just very classic. I mean, it just works. It cinches up very easily, creating a nice secure fit around your feet. There's an extra eyelet at the top, which will allow you to do racer's loop, just in case you do need to get extra heel lock out of these shoes, depending on your foot shape. And there's also a little loop on the tongue that the laces go through to help keep the tongue in place whilst you're running. Areas for improvement then, where do I think the Skyward X could be improved for version 2? Well, for me as a lighter run, it does feel just a touch on the heavy side. Now, maybe that's a little bit unfair to say that because the Skyward X packs in so much into this shoe. So a weight of 10.8 ounces really isn't that much, really. From a nice cushioned upper to a huge stack height, PEBA foam, carbon fiber plate, and a rubber compound outsole. It's all in there. So actually, for runners who are medium to heavy build, you're not going to notice that weight, and you're really going to benefit from all the other features. So it's just really for the super lightweight runners out there. They might feel like this shoe is a little bit bulky, in which case you might want to go for one of these alternatives here. Now, if I'm being honest, when I first looked at the Skyward X, pulled it out of the box, saw that huge stack height, I felt like it was going to be a bit of a bulky shoe and not much of a performer. A little bit in line with the Bondi running shoe. But man, I was pleasantly surprised with the Skyward X. Just over-delivered in my expectations. Now, is it worth the money? Is it worth $225? That's a hell of a lot of money. Yes, I'm going to say it is worth the money because with this training shoe, you could very easily swap out maybe 3 of your training shoes. It acts like a super trainer because it's got that carbon fiber plate, super cushioned midsole, and it will take you on so many different types of runs and perform really well on those runs. So yeah, you get a hell of a lot of shoe for that money. So I do think it brings good value. It will replace a few of your running shoes. Maybe not a race day shoe. Some people will race in it and they'll be very happy. But I think you'll be better off switching this out, maybe for the Hoka Skyward X1 as a race day shoe. If you're not familiar with that shoe, go watch my review. It is insanely fast. Well, that's it from me and the Skyward X. If you did enjoy the video, once again, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. And if you do have experience running in the Skyward X, drop a comment down below. I want to know your thoughts on this running shoe. Do they align with mine? Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.